You're going through a phase of where your body is beginning to adjust, your brain is beginning to adjust to a new way of living, to a new design. And that new design means your brain has to rebalance those brain chemicals that have all been altered from your sex addiction, your meth addiction, all those addictions. Your brain was rewired. Have you tried to stop your compulsive sexual behavior, your methamphetamine use, if you're addicted to methamphetamine, if you're dual addicted to sex and methamphetamine, Chemsex? Have you tried to stop over and over again to no avail? You continue to return back to the drugs, to the sex, to your compulsive sexual behavior. You download again Grindr, a Tinder, or Bumble, and then you delete it, and then you download it again, and you promise you'll stop. Have you made promises to yourself, to other people? Have you been in 12-step groups or counseling or had a coach? And yet you keep going back to that lifestyle, and you're hopeless now. You just have no idea why you simply can't stop. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today, is the two phases that you'll experience early in what we'll call recovery. Recovering from a life of addiction and chaos to a life of peace and serenity, you're going to go through a transformation. Early in that transformation, you have to get through two phases. My name's Rob Lopicola. I'm a behavioral health and sex addiction recovery coach, and this channel is dedicated to men who are courageously battling compulsive sexual behavior or sex addiction, and I help you transform your life. Ultimate goal, healthy sexual expression, free from shame, guilt, and isolation. I want to help you get there. Today, let's talk about early recovery and why so many people, and probably you included, have returned back to those compulsive behaviors and addiction. Early in recovery, when you're experiencing your initial transformation, many people don't even succeed a week or two, some not even a few days. And I'll tell you why. You have to experience a feeling before you're ready to change your life. If you're struggling in sex addiction, chemsex addiction, whatever, any addiction, you have to come to terms with this truth. And if you cannot admit this truth with conviction, I don't believe you're ready. Now, I've been there. I was chemsex addicted, meth addicted, alcohol addicted, sex addicted horrifically. And I had to get to this point. People I've worked with, people who have succeeded, have all gotten to this point. So you have to be here. And if you're not ready. You have to believe with conviction that the pain of change will be less than the pain of staying the same. You have to be in such a place of pain and agony and misery that you now believe the pain of change will be less than the pain of staying the same, and believe that. And if you're there, and if you believe that, and if you have conviction with that experience now, you have a chance of changing your life. That's the first experience you must have to begin your transformation. Otherwise, if you just want to break free and you want to negotiate with your addiction, you're not sure, you don't know where you are, and you're just not ready. You have to be to the point where the pain of change is easier than the pain of staying the same. You also have to be open-minded to experiencing the pain you've been running from. So as you experience sobriety and change and transformation, you have to be willing to take a look at what's going on inside of you, your trauma, your pain, your loneliness, whatever it is that you've been running from for all these years. And then you also must be willing to take a look at your mindset. You have to be open-minded to change your mindset. You need help to do that. You need help not only with strategies, you need help with how to apply the strategies, how to begin to apply what you need in your life to change your mindset. So those three are imperative. And then once you are willing to experience the latter two and you're at a place of pain change and you're ready, now we can experience the beginning of your life transformation. Now, early in recovery, you may experience Not everyone does. A lot of people do. Immense joy and like that cloud nine feeling your first several days or weeks, where you feel you have a coach, you go into 12-step meetings, maybe you have a counselor, maybe you have all of these ingredients in play, and you just feel free. You're starting to laugh again, you're feeling good, you're 2-3 weeks away from compulsive sexual behavior, drugs and alcohol, poppers, you're away from all that stuff, and you're feeling great. Now that's cloud nine. That can last from a few days to a few weeks. Then reality begins to set in. You start to feel, you start to notice your loneliness, you start to notice some of the irritable, discontent feelings coming up in your body. You start to get a little bored, you don't have a lot of excitement, you're noticing that not a lot of things are bringing you joy. Now you're going into acute withdrawal. You're not sleeping all that great, you're distracted, you're not really excited to go out with friends. That initial phase is your withdrawal. Fatigue, not sleeping well, maybe insomnia, that's acute withdrawal. You're going through a phase of where your body is beginning to adjust, your brain is beginning to adjust to a new way of living, to a new design. And that new design means your brain has to rebalance those brain chemicals that have all been altered from your sex addiction, your meth addiction, all those addictions. Your brain was rewired, all has to do with dopamine. And I have a great video on how dopamine plays a significant role, and I'll have the link below for you, so check that out. But your brain now has to rebalance. And as it's going through that rebalancing, that's when you start getting unsettled. And it's at this time when many people go back to their compulsive sexual behaviors and their drugs and alcohol, whatever it is for you, the Chemsex scene. This is when you go back. Now, there will be, with good coaching, you're connected to your coaching, you're connected to other people, you're becoming honest, you're involved in a 12-step program, maybe you have a counselor and a coach and a sponsor, so you might get through that acute withdrawal phase. And that's great. Once you get through that, you now achieved a milestone. So when you get into like 30, 40 days of breaking free from your compulsive sexual behavior and addiction, milestone, celebrate, congratulations. But you're not done yet. You're not there yet. Now, once we get into like 30, 40 days, till around 90 to 100 days, you have a period of time here when most addicts return to their addiction. You go through what's called PAWS, P-A-W-S, post-acute withdrawal syndrome. This is a very, very difficult time. This is when you start feeling. This is when you're really deep in those cravings and urges. You may start romanticizing your using days, having euphoric recall of how wonderful it was. You're not really active being social with people. You're not feeling good going to the gym or going outside and enjoying nature. You don't have joy. You're bored. You're not excited. This is normal. And you have to be aware you're going through post-acute withdrawal syndrome. It will pass. It will last a month or two, maybe a little longer, but it will pass. Very uncomfortable. This is when almost 60% of people go back to their sexual compulsive behaviors, methamphetamine, alcohol, whatever your addiction is. This is the time when you go back. So your first couple of weeks, you're feeling good. Then you're starting to feel crappy. You're starting to feel a little discontent and maybe a little irritable. Then you go deeper. That's the acute withdrawal. Then you go deeper into all of that. And now you're having euphoric recall and you're reminiscing on the good old days when you were using, and you start negotiating with your addiction a little bit. Well, what if I just, it's been a while. What if I just have one drink? Or what if I just go to the sex club just Saturday? What if I just get a bottle of poppers and watch porn just for one night? I need a break. See, all of that starts happening now. And it's very tough to get through. This is when you really need to connect with people, connect with your 12-step program, connect with your sponsor, connect with your coach, your counselor. You need help. You need help. You won't get through it alone. If you're a true sex addict, methamphetamine addict, chemsex addict, You're not going to get through the other side of this alone. It won't happen. The odds of getting through it are extremely slim. 60% of people relapse at this time or go back into a major setback. This is a critical time. 30, 40 days to about 90 or 100. Critical time. That's when most people go back. This is when you need to stay plugged in the most. This is when you connect to nature the most. This is when you force yourself to go to the gym, go jogging, play with your puppy, play with your dog, connect to your sponsor. This is when you have to be honest and you have to be willing, and I said this in the beginning of the video, you have to be willing to feel, to face the trauma, the pain, the loneliness you've been running from. And now it starts coming up and it expresses itself as powerful urges and cravings. And it's not just physical, it's psychological. You don't have any excitement. And you think about those days were exciting. It felt good. I don't feel good now. You have to get through the period of pause. And when you do, when you get to the other side, when you can get through that phase, and now you're at around 100 days free, the chance of you remaining addiction-free goes up. Your chance goes up significantly. And if you make it to 6 months following the same regimen, the odds go down even more. And if you make it a year, your chance of going back to that lifestyle extremely low. But you have to get through the first 30, 40 days of acute withdrawal. That little cloud 9 period will happen to most people, not everybody. Then you go into post-acute withdrawal syndrome, and that's rough. It's tough. You have to feel. Hey guys, if you're struggling and you need to reach me right now, you can text me at 954-861-0740. I want to be a lifeline for you. I want to be a beacon of hope, and I want to help you begin your healing and transformation. So text me right now, 954-861-0740. And you have to be ready for it. You have to be prepared for it. So the first 30 days, especially if you're in cloud 9, develop new habits. Develop the habit to go into the gym, calling your sponsor, meeting with your coach, counselor, whatever it is you're doing, make it a habit, because when it gets rough, you want to be in the habit of already constructive behaviors. That is imperative for your long-term sobriety. So if you've been struggling with getting clean and sober and changing your life and you just don't know why, now you know. When it gets real rough, you're in post-acute withdrawal syndrome. Happens to everybody when they're recovering from addiction. That time is critical. You need help to get through it. And I would love to help you get through it. So what I'm offering you is a free 30-minute 10-step strategy session to really delve deeper into your sex addiction, your triggers, your sexually compulsive behaviors, really get a look at yourself and your addiction. That is the beginning of your healing journey from transforming your life from where you are now in the chaos of addiction to a life of freedom, transforming where you can experience healthy sexual expression free from the shame, guilt, and isolation. And you can go to my website, sexaddictionrelief.com, and you can check out all my free resources. I have a YouTube channel, which is right here. I want you to check out my podcasts. It's new. I just started last month, and I elaborate more on this stuff in the podcast. So I'm here, all avenues. You got your free 10-step strategy session. I have a free ebook for you. I have a podcast. I have well over 130 videos on my YouTube channel. I have a lot of resources for you. Take advantage of what I can give you to help you begin your healing journey. If you like any of this, if this resonates with you, again, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button. That helps the algorithm so I can help more people like you. Thanks again for being here. I post a new video every Tuesday. I'll see you next week.